Hey guys, I'm the Thoughtful Beast, aka Trixi, spelled without an E, that this caption is going to put. Do you see how bitter I am? Today we're going to talk about catastrophizing and anxiety. So I recently came out with a cognitive distortion episode about catastrophizing. And when I made it, I automatically just flashed back to all the times I did it myself. And it really just reminds me of my anxiety. Like when I think of catastrophizing and spiraling down, I think of my anxiety. The first time I was diagnosed with anxiety, I was diagnosed with general anxiety disorder. And I remember when I was talking to my therapist, all I did was list out all the things that freaked me out. And it was about everything. I had things to say that I was worried about with each of my family members, about school, about my friends, about all these different things. And I was just worried 100% of the time. And living like that sucked. Even the energy that I feel, tapping back to that part of my past, sucks. I could feel it in my chest. So with catastrophizing for me, again, I heavily relate it to anxiety, which inevitably, at least for me, feeds into my depression because I saw all these things going wrong and I was helpless to help anything. Why? Because you can't make other people do things. It's their life. You shouldn't and you can't anyways. And that's a hard lesson to learn that I'm still learning. But yeah, it's hard. Catastrophizing is so fear-based, I talk about my abusive relationship a lot, but honestly, that was a bad time, and I can relate probably all the cognitive distortions to it. So, I talk about a lot how I was too afraid to leave or do anything. I was it was a crappy point, when you are catastrophizing and that is out of control, meaning, my anxiety was out of control, I would be too afraid to do anything. I wanted to be perfect, and that made me do some things, and then at the same time, I was too afraid to do other things, like make a mistake, those kind of things, right? I'm too afraid to look a certain way. I need to look a certain way. I need to act a certain way. Because if not, then that means that my boyfriend's going to break up with me and then I'm going to be alone forever. Honestly, I had that example in my other video. And that fear of being forever is what I think about when I think of catastrophizing. I think for me, it really relates to that. Because usually my deepest fear was that I would just be left alone. One of my deepest fears for a long time was that I was just too sad for anyone to love. And in itself, I was catastrophizing my own mental illness. And that's not to say that having mental illness is not hard, because it is difficult. But when we catastrophize it and we're just nope, that's it. I have this mental illness, so that means everything in my life is going to go down and there's no point in trying anymore. That's when, life gets really crappy. Again, we're feeding into our own depression, we're feeding into our own anxieties, and it's not healthy. Breaking that cycle is super, super, super hard, but that's why I like doing the videos that are cognitive distortions, because, again, they're common things that we do all the time, but they can hurt us so frequently because they are so common, and just being aware of them is a good step to living a better life. So I know to all my fellow friends who are just worried about everything all the freaking time. Again, professional help has helped me a lot. Dialectical behavior therapy has helped me a lot. It has this component that's called emotion regulation. And that has really helped me because that component, all of DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, has worksheets and actionable steps that you can take to combat your anxieties, your cognitive distortions, your negative behavioral patterns and ways of thinking. So that really helped me. And it also has mindfulness. There's also a component of mindfulness, which is and everything starts from mindfulness, right? You really have to be aware of when you're doing these negative thinking patterns. Oh my gosh, that was really hard for me to say. You first have to be aware. And the thing is, like, that's a skill. That's something that you need to practice. And so that's also something I urge you to check out. Like, I've enjoyed different forms of therapy. I think dialectical behavior therapy is really good for actionable steps. Because again, you know, stopping yourself from catastrophizing, stopping yourself from fearing, stopping your anxiety, and not letting it take over your life is difficult. But you can do it. You know, and if you don't feel like you can do it now, I would like to say, like, you can, you just don't have, you know, you just don't have the tools yet, but the tools are out there. So keep looking. That's where I'm going to end today. Until next time, please take care of yourself, and please remember to create happiness in your own life, whether that means that you're going to look up dialectical behavior therapy and buy a workbook off Amazon, or if that means that you're going to go take a nap. Oh, or fall asleep to Sabrina season 3 on Netflix. Yeah, I just finished that. Okay, bye, peace out.